Someone is trying so hard not to show you how soft they get around you. And I mean trying. Like their ego is standing there with its arms crossed, acting cool, acting unbothered. But something about your sweetness keeps slipping through the cracks. Okay. This card is literally perfect. Knight of Cups, but it's coming through reversed in the image. And remember, I'm reading this as psychological symbolism, not fortune-telling, right? So this is someone whose romantic impulse is there, but it's hidden under hesitation, pride, and this almost funny little need to seem in control. I'm hearing, I don't want you to know how much you affect me. It's like they want to come forward with softness, with a message, with a compliment, with something emotionally honest, but then their ego goes, no, don't do that. That's too obvious, and that's where the title is coming in. I hide how sweet you make me. Because you do. You make them sweet. You make them softer than they planned to be. If you want to check the emotional compatibility between you and someone, this is where you can naturally mention your sponsor, like an astrology app, relationship quiz, or birth chart tool. Keep it short, soft, and aligned with the love reading vibe. Okay, back to this person. I feel like they have a very specific reaction to you. It's not just attraction, it's comfort. And comfort is dangerous to their ego. Because attraction they can explain. They can say, oh, they're attractive. They can keep that surface level. But softness, feeling safe, wanting to be gentle, wanting to protect your peace, that's where this person starts getting quiet. Tell me more about this Knight of Cups reversed. Why are you hiding the cup? Why are you hiding the sweetness? Okay, that's interesting. I'm getting someone who may tease you, or act a little sarcastic, or go quiet after a sweet moment because they feel exposed. Like maybe they said something kind, or looked at you too long, or reacted a little too warmly, and then immediately pulled the energy back. And you might have noticed that. You might have felt like, wait, did I just see the real you for a second? Yes, you did. And 222 as I'm saying this. This person's ego is not the absence of feeling. It's the cover over the feeling. And the feeling underneath is, your softness is becoming addictive to me. And I don't know how to act normal about it. And I'm looking at this 8 of Pentacles now. And this is so specific. Because this is not someone who is casually hiding it. No, this is someone practicing. Like they have studied how to look unaffected. They have a whole little system. 8 of Pentacles is effort, repetition, self-control, skill building, so symbolically, this person has gotten very good at managing their face, managing their tone, managing the timing of their replies, managing how much warmth leaks out. And that's why sometimes they may come across detached. Not because nothing is happening, because too much is happening, and they're trying to make it look normal. It's like they'll feel this sweet little pull toward you, and then immediately their ego goes, okay, act regular. Don't be weird. Don't be too available. Don't say the soft thing. Don't let them see that. And then maybe they respond late. Or they keep the conversation a little too casual. Or they make a joke right when the energy starts getting tender. Like you'll say something genuine. Or there's a moment where the two of you could actually meet emotionally. And suddenly they're making it light. They're changing the subject. They're acting like, haha, anyway. And you're sitting there like, okay, so we're pretending that didn't just happen? Yes. That's exactly the energy. Because the Knight of Cups reversed wants to offer the cup, but the 8 of Pentacles says, I have trained myself not to spill it. Ooh. That's it. They have trained themselves not to spill it. They may have learned somewhere at some point that softness makes you vulnerable. That sweetness gives someone access. That if you let people see where you care, they can touch that place. So this ego, this little crossed arms ego, it's not just trying to look cool. It's trying to protect the part of them that gets tender around you. And you bring that part out without forcing it. That's what's kind of messing with them. You're not chasing it out. You're not demanding. Show me your heart. Tell me everything. Be vulnerable right now. No, you're just being you. And somehow that makes their guard start slipping. A softer voice, a longer look. A response that has a little more feeling than they meant to show. A moment where they check on you, then act like it was nothing. And the funny thing is, the more they try to pull the sweetness back, the more obvious the sweetness becomes. Because the pullback has a pattern, the distance has a timing, and that timing is telling on them. And now look at this, Queen of Swords reversed. This is why the pullback can feel so sharp sometimes. Because on the outside, they may suddenly become colder, shorter, more logical, more guarded. Like they're trying to cut through the feeling before the feeling gets too loud. But emotionally? No. That's not what's happening. This is someone whose mind starts interrupting the heart. The heart softens. And then the mind comes in with the sword like, absolutely not. We are not doing that. We are not being obvious. We are not giving them that much power. So you may have felt this strange switch with them. One moment, there's warmth, there's openness, there's this little pocket of sweetness between you two, where their guard drops and it feels like, oh, there you are. And then suddenly, the tone changes. They get quiet. They get sarcastic. They answer like they're trying to make the moment smaller. Or they act like whatever just happened was casual, when you know it was not casual. You felt the temperature change. You didn't make that up. That's important. Because sometimes with this kind of energy, you can start questioning your own perception. You're like, did I imagine that softness? Did I read too much into that? No, I don't feel like you did. I feel like you caught the moment before they edited themselves. That's the Queen of Swords reversed symbolically. The editing. The overthinking. The quick little internal correction. Like they let one honest thing slip, and then immediately they go back and try to revise the emotional sentence. It's almost like their ego has a delete button. They say something sweet. Delete. They look at you too softly. Delete. They show concern. Delete. They start caring out loud. Delete, delete, delete. And then they come back with something cooler, something safer, something that gives them distance again. But the contradiction is loud, because if someone truly didn't care, they wouldn't need to manage it this much. They wouldn't need the sword. They wouldn't need the armor. They wouldn't need to keep correcting their own tenderness, okay? So this push and pull, this close and then cold, this sweet and then sharp, it is not random. It's exposure. It's them realizing, oh no, I let you see too much, and then trying to cover it. But there is one part of your softness, one very specific part, that this person cannot seem to defend themselves against. And look at this. 8 of Cups reversed. That is so on point, because this is the energy of someone trying to walk away emotionally, or trying to act like they can step out of the feeling, but they keep circling back inside, not always physically, not always in a way you can point to and say, see, there it is. But mentally, emotionally, their attention returns to you, because your softness has a very specific texture to it. And I want to be clear, this is not weakness. This is not you being naive. This is not you being too available, or too sweet, or too forgiving. No, that's not what I'm getting. Your sweetness is an atmosphere. It's something they feel when they come near you. It's like their nervous system goes, oh, I don't have to brace so hard here. That's the part they can't defend against. Not just your face, not just your voice, not just the way you look, or the way you say certain things. It's the feeling around you. There's something calming, something warm, something almost like emotional honey. And I know that sounds soft, but that's exactly the point. It gets into the places where their ego is stiff. It moves slowly. It doesn't kick the door down. It just sits there, sweetly. And somehow the armor starts loosening. That's why this 8 of Cups reversed feels important. Because part of them may tell themselves, okay, pull back, detach. Don't get too involved. Don't make this a thing. And then they feel your energy again, or remember something you said, or replay the way you responded to them, and suddenly they're not as detached as they thought. They may be used to people demanding from them, needing from them, trying to pull a reaction out of them. But you have this way of being soft without grabbing, sweet without cornering, present without forcing, and that makes them feel less armored. That's the thing. They're not just drawn to you because you're attractive. They're drawn to the part of themselves they can feel when they're around you. A less defended version, a quieter version, a version that doesn't have to perform being fine. So when their ego says, "I hide how sweet you make me," what it really means is, "I hide the fact that you make me feel safe enough to become someone softer." And that softness, it's bringing up a version of them they thought they had already buried. And now we have the Three of Cups. This makes so much sense, because this buried version of them is not just romantic, it's playful, it's lighter. It's the part of them that remembers how to enjoy someone without immediately protecting themselves from it. And that's why your softness hits in a different place. It's not only, "Oh, I'm attracted to you." It's, "Oh, I can laugh with you. I can be a little less guarded with you. I can feel warmth without it turning into a fight for control." And I'm getting that this person may not be used to gentleness that doesn't come with a catch. Like maybe in their experience, if someone was sweet, there was still pressure underneath it. A demand, an expectation, a hidden little hook. So when you are kind, when you are patient, when you respond to them with warmth, instead of trying to punish them for being awkward, something in them doesn't know what to do with that. It's comfort, but it's also exposure, because the younger part of them, the softer part, the part that maybe used to be more open, more trusting, more emotionally expressive, starts peeking out, and their ego is like, "Absolutely not. Get back inside." That's why they may freeze after you compliment them, or downplay it, or say something like, yeah, whatever, when you know they heard you, they felt it. They just didn't know how to receive it cleanly. Or maybe you've seen them get playful with you, almost childlike for a second, teasing, smiling, getting a little silly, and then suddenly they catch themselves. Like, "Wait, why am I acting like this? Why am I this comfortable?" And then here comes the ego again. Cooler tone, a little distance, a joke to cover the softness, a subject change. But the Three of Cups is showing me that your energy brings out enjoyment in them, not just desire. Enjoyment. And that matters, because enjoyment is hard to fake. You can fake being unbothered. You can fake being busy. You can fake being detached. But when someone makes you feel lighter, your body tells on you. Their face tells on them. Their timing tells on them. Their little reactions tell on them. And even if their ego acts annoyed, or casual, or like, "It's not that serious," another part of them is starting to associate you with safety, with ease, with warmth, with the feeling of, "I might actually be able to trust this." And now we have the Nine of Cups reversed. Okay. This is where the tension gets a little deeper, because Nine of Cups upright can be that feeling of, "This is what I want. This feels good. This satisfies something in me." But reversed, it's like someone realizing something feels good and then immediately getting uncomfortable with how much they want it. That's the part. This person can handle attraction better than trust. Attraction can be kept at a distance. Attraction can be playful. It can be private. It can be turned into chemistry or teasing or tension or, "Oh, it's not that deep." But trust? Trust is different. Trust says, "I might need to be honest here." Trust says, "I might actually care how you see me." Trust says, "This person's softness matters to me, and if they took it away, I would feel that." And that is where their ego starts acting strange. Because wanting you is one thing. Feeling emotionally fed by you? That's another. The Nine of Cups reversed is giving me someone who may not want to admit that your sweetness fills a place in them they usually pretend is fine. like they're used to saying, "I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm okay on my own. I'm not attached." And then here you come, not forcing, not demanding, just being warm, and suddenly their little internal cup is like, "Oh, I actually miss this." And that scares them. So they may test it, not in a villain way, not always consciously, but they may test your softness. They may go quiet and watch how you respond. They may get a little dry, a little sarcastic, a little emotionally unavailable for a second, just to see, will you change on me? Will you get cold too? Will you punish me? Will you make me regret softening? And underneath that, I'm hearing, will you still be gentle with me if I'm not perfectly easy to love? Oof. That's very specific. Because this person may have learned to be lovable through control, through charm, through competence, through keeping the messy parts hidden. But with you, they sense that you can feel beyond the performance. And that is comforting, but it's also terrifying. Because if you can see the softness, you can also see the fear around it. So when they pull back, sometimes it's not rejection. It's them checking the room, checking your reaction, checking whether your warmth is real or temporary. But the thing is, they've already slipped. They've already shown you something. One small thing, almost accidental. And I feel like that little moment says more than all the distance they tried to create afterward. And now we have strength reversed. Of course, because this is exactly that moment where the self-control slips. Strength upright can be composure, holding yourself together, staying calm, keeping the animal part, the emotional part, the craving part under control. But reversed, that little grip loosens, not fully, not dramatically, just enough for something honest to show. And I feel like this person has already had those moments with you. Small ones. Maybe their voice changes around you. Like they try to sound casual, but there's this softness in their tone that wasn't there with other people. And you noticed it. There it is. Or they remember something tiny you said. Something you didn't even think mattered. Your favorite thing. A detail about your day. Something you were worried about. Something you mentioned once, almost in passing. And then later, they bring it up like it's nothing. Like, "Oh yeah, didn't you say?" There it is. That's not loud. That's not a confession. But it's not empty either. That is the cup, hidden, but not empty. The Knight of Cups reversed may not be holding it out clearly, but there's something in it. There is feeling in it. And Strength reversed is telling me they can't always contain the instinct to care. They may get protective in these very quiet ways. Not necessarily dramatic. Not possessive. Not, "I'm here to save you." No, more like, "Did you eat? Are you okay? Text me when you get there." Or they notice when your energy is off. They may pretend not to care, but they adjust. They soften. They become a little more careful with you. And then they act like they didn't just do that. There it is again. Maybe they linger. They stay in the conversation a little longer than they needed to. They watch for your reaction after they say something. They pretend they're not looking, but they are checking. Did that make you smile? Did that hurt you? Did you pull away? Did you soften back? Because whether they admit it or not, your response matters to them. And that's what makes this so telling. Someone who feels nothing doesn't study your face like that. Someone who feels nothing doesn't adjust their tone when they realize they came off too cold. Someone who feels nothing doesn't get awkward after being sweet. The awkwardness is the evidence. The little correction afterward is the evidence. The way they try to return to normal after showing care is the evidence. Their ego is still saying, "Don't let them know." But their behavior keeps whispering. They already know. And the real reason they hide it is not because they feel nothing. It's because your softness makes them want something real. And now we have the Nine of Swords reversed. Okay, this is the fear under the ego. Because the ego can act cool. The ego can act like, "I'm fine. I'm not thinking about this. So I'm not affected." But the Nine of Swords reversed is showing me that there is something happening underneath the surface that is not as calm as they're trying to make it look. This is the mind after the moment, the replay, the overthinking, the why did I say that? Did I show too much? Did they notice? Why do I even care if they noticed? And that's where this gets serious. Because wanting something real means they can't stay completely in control anymore. They may be used to being the observer, the one who watches, the one who decides how much emotion enters the room. Like, I'll flirt this much, I'll care this much, I'll open the door this much, but no further. Very measured, very controlled. But with you, the feeling doesn't always wait for permission. It shows up before they can organize it, before they can make it look impressive, before they can make it look casual. And that is what scares them. Because if they admit, I hide how sweet you make me, then they also have to admit, you affect me. And if you affect them, then they can be hurt. That's the part their ego does not want to deal with. Not just liking you, not just wanting your attention, but knowing that your absence would be felt. Knowing that if your softness changed, if your warmth pulled back, if your eyes looked at them differently, it would actually hit something. And I'm hearing their inner voice here, like, why do I want to tell you things? Why do I feel calmer when you're around? Why do I care if you're okay? Why does your sweetness make me feel exposed? It's confusing to them because you're not forcing a confession. You're not dragging emotion out of them. You're just becoming important. Quietly, naturally. And that almost makes it harder for their ego to fight. Because there's no big dramatic thing to blame. They can't say, oh, you pressured me. No, they softened. They did. And the Nine of Swords reversed is like the part of them trying to climb out of their own head. But still looking back at the fear. Still trying to understand why something so sweet feels so risky. So the ego is still trying to hide it. It is. But the heart? The heart is starting to get louder than the excuse. And now we have the Page of Wands. Okay. This is that little spark that the ego cannot fully put out. Because the Page of Wands is not a huge confession. It's not someone standing there like, I have processed all my emotions and I'm ready to be completely vulnerable. No. It's smaller than that. It's a message. A spark. A little reach. A moment of curiosity that slips out before they can overthink it. And that feels very connected to what we were just saying, because the heart is starting to get louder than the excuse. The ego says, stay cool. The heart says, say something. The ego says, don't look needy. The heart says, check on them. The ego says, keep it casual. The heart says, but they matter. That's the battle. And with this Page of Wands, I feel like this person may be approaching that kind of moment where their care comes through in a way they can still pretend is light. But it carries more warmth than usual. Like they send a message that looks simple on the surface, but the timing tells you something. Or they make a playful comment, but underneath it, there's a little emotional reach. Or they ask a question they didn't need to ask, just to keep the connection alive. It may not be dramatic, and I don't want to force it into a prediction, because again, we're reading this symbolically. But psychologically, this is someone whose impulse is starting to move before their pride can fully stop it. That's important. The Page of Wands is like the part of them that says, I want to see what happens if I let a little more of me show, just a little. Not the whole heart, not yet, but a spark, a hint, a warmer tone, a softer joke, a message that lingers, a little more honesty than they meant to reveal. And then, of course, their ego may try to dress it up. Like, what? I was just saying. I was just asking. It's not a big deal. But it is a little bit of a big deal. Because for someone who hides this much, even a small reach is not small. It means something had to get past the guard. Something had to slip through the crossed arms. And I'm hearing, I hide how sweet you make me, because if you knew, you would know where I'm soft. Oof. Yes, that's the line. because that is the fear. Not just that you'll know they care, but that you'll know where they care. You'll know the doorway. You'll know the place in them that becomes less defended when you're near. And yet, they keep moving toward that doorway anyway. Maybe slowly, maybe awkwardly, maybe with jokes, delays, little sparks, little messages, little almost confessions. But the emotional atmosphere has already changed. That's what you need to understand next. Your softness has already changed the room, and now we have judgment. Okay, that feels very fitting for where this is landing, because judgment is that moment where something cannot stay unconscious anymore. Not in a scary way, not in a dramatic, everything has to happen right this second way. No, symbolically, this is awareness. It's the inner trumpet. It's the part of someone that goes, okay, I know what I feel, even if I'm still trying to act like I don't. And that's why I keep feeling your softness has already changed the room. Because you don't have to chase this person for your energy to be felt. You don't have to perform softness harder. You don't have to prove you're safe. You don't have to become colder just because they get guarded. No, that's the message. Your sweetness is already doing what it does. It reveals, it mirrors, it shows this person where they are defended, where they are afraid, where they keep pretending they don't want to be met gently. And judgment is like their deeper self noticing that. Even if the ego is still standing there like, I'm fine, I'm normal, this is casual. The deeper self knows, the softer part knows, the part that gets quiet around you knows. And I want you to hear this clearly. You didn't imagine it. You didn't imagine the warmth. You didn't imagine the shift. You didn't imagine the way they became a little more careful, a little more present, a little more human when your sweetness reached them. But also, you are not responsible for forcing someone to receive what they feel. Okay? Your softness is powerful, but it is not a job. It is not a performance. It is not something you need to keep proving until their ego finally gives you permission to matter. You already matter. That's why the ego reacts. That's why it hides. That's why it edits. That's why it pulls back after the sweetest moments. Because the sweetness is real. The cup may be reversed. It may be hidden. It may be delayed. It may be held close to the chest, like, no, 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 don't let them see. But it is not empty. That's the difference. And judgment is bringing this quiet realization. At some level, this person knows that you have touched a part of them they cannot keep pretending is untouched. So let them have their process. Let the ego do its little crossed arms routine. Let it act cool for a minute. Because what's underneath it has already been heard. Your softness called something forward. And even if this person hides how sweet you make them, they cannot stop becoming softer in your presence.